Claveria is one of the hidden gems of the north, a town located within the mountain ranges of Sierra Madre. It is also known as the coastal paradise of the north, a town full of mesmerizing sceneries. Also, the Claverianos are known as hardworking, hospitable, and generous. This sleepy town is a pleasing hodgepodge of beautiful beaches, forest-clad massif, agricultural lands, and pristine waterfalls. It's a town with a beauty like no other, a town that will always be remembered. Visiting this town will be an unforgettable experience. Claveria is known because of its infamous landmark, a rock formation also known as the Apo Lakay-Lakay and Apo Bakit-Bakit, that is located in Barangay Taggat Norte, Claveria, Cagayan Valley. These rock formations have a legend called the Legend of Apo Lakay-Lakay and Apo Bakit-Bakit. Now, let us hear the story of the twisted legend, the weeping couple of Claveria.
Remember the story I once told you about these rock formations?
The famous rock formations of Claveria?
Seems like you aren't sure. That's fine. You know, many stories and heresies were passed down, but the truth remains a mystery. How about you have a seat and I'll tell you the story?
Sure, why not?
Now let me tell you the story. This is a version my grandfather used to tell me, so listen carefully. Legend says that there is a tiny barangay in Claveria where a rich family once lived. But before they became rich, the family grappled for money. There are days where they can't even put anything on their plates. Although this is an everyday scenario in their household, they thrive rich with love and care for each other. Alon, the father in the family, would go fishing every day for something to sell and eat using his talangan. Amor, on the other hand, would either do the household chores with Ubing or help Alon sell some fish in the nearby town. Despite their social standing, their family was well known throughout the entire municipality of Claveria for being kind and reliable. Regardless of their lack of resources, the community seems to always turn to the family for assistance.
May bagnal daw mo, Bang Alon. Kumusta ka?
Nagsorte ng taktan, tagado na tiliw ko nga ikan.
Iswerte mo. Siya, awang pulos na tiliw ko nga ikan. Kris!
Paan ka mauawa ng tiram na ama, baro? Kadupay di oras ken nalawat a baybay. Inaklay la ko atoy di palengke. Kasi naggamin ti birthday ni Amor, iso nga gol ornong nakti kwarta tay katangak sunat ti regalo. Wala nga ruden, sapay la ko mata dot maalam nga ikan.
Alon was walking with his head in the clouds, contemplating a wonderful present for his wife. His thoughts are interrupted as the sound of the waves breaking grows louder. Observing the loud, large waves as he looks out over the ocean, he pushed the thought to the back of his mind because he was so preoccupied with deciding what gift to buy.
Addan sa aman ti bagyo nga sumangpeten.
Since storms are common, most people don't pay them much attention when they happen. As he arrived, Alon could not help but notice a crowd gathering in the middle of the busy market. He couldn't help but eavesdrop on other people's conversations, since his curiosity got the better of him. But before he could process what he heard, he was distracted from his thoughts by a woman's loud yell. The elderly woman was regarded as a town oddball. Because of this, the crowd made fun of her. Abuka yelled even as she was being taken away.
Haan nga mabalin, haan!
Alon can help but feel butterflies in his stomach Not the giddy kind, but the apprehensive kind. He was accustomed to storms. In fact, Claveria's municipality as a whole is. What was unusual about this one? He said to himself. Amor's birthday was drawing near as the days passed. The weather was wonderful, and everything appeared normal. Mang Alon had planned to buy his wife a present today. Walking down the path, he bumped into Bano.
Mang Alon! Mang Alon! Mang Alon! Ala, Mang Alon, adan sa man bagyo asumang teten.
Isubra nga si Mang Petkat na sapa.
Wen garon, kaslang nagsapay pati tadaluyon taaw. Agar-garood bayan.
Ala, nukas jayakit baka malayos tayo manin. Ay pang bidantag sagana tayon.
The upcoming events caused widespread panic in the neighborhood. Everyone was sprinting while toting their belongings. Alon does the same thing by running to his house to tell his family.
Ala, agpaison sa amin dyan bagat-bagat.
When he opened the door to his house, he was greeted by frightened Amor and clueless Ubing-Ubing.
Isu, nangeg ko.
As they prepared for the unexpected disaster that was approaching, the roar of the waves and the wail of the wind appeared to grow loud. Claveria's formidable inhabitants have never faced a storm of this intensity. Time passed quickly and the peaceful body of water where Alon used to fish and where Ubing played was suddenly engulfing and destroying homes. Darkness shrouded the town, but the storm's agonizing cries were still audible. Everything was gone as they exchanged emotionless looks with one another. The sky was gloomy, boats had disappeared, and houses had been demolished. Despite the fact that the entire community was prepared, it appears that it was insufficient in light of their municipality today. Everything seemed to have been washed away in the same manner as the storm. When morning came and the storm was over, the whole barangay was greeted with houses submerged in deep water. The family has only 3 fishes stored and their house was nearly destroyed. Alon's balangay was nowhere to be found after the massive flood. They were left with only their clothes. They were helpless. There's not much that they can salvage from the flood and there's a little amount stored to eat. At that moment of helplessness, the family kneeled down and prayed to Bathala. Holding each other's hand, they bowed down in supplication, praying to God to give them mercy and help them in their adversity.
Apo nga nay sa langitan, man nakabalin ti iso amin. Tinggem atoy nga kararagmi. Nagbalin kami nga naimbag ti tattao. Tinulungan mi isuda iti kaunggan nga panakabalin mi. Awan aramid mi nga haan nasayaat tapno madusa kami ti kastoy. Iti dawdawaten mi lang kanyang kitbasit nga asi. Awanan kami. Iso nga pangaasim apo, kaasyan na kami, tulungan na kami nga makabangon. Amen.
When Amor finally finished praying, a soft knock broke the long-held silence in the 4 corners of their simple bahay kubo. As Ubing opened the door, a skinny wrinkled woman with sagging skin and upright posture appeared. A sudden blow of wind swung her golden sarong, which gave shivers to the family. This old lady came with bleeding eyes and soiled hands, asking for a piece of fish. At first, all of them are very hesitant. They barely have enough for themselves, with only 3 fishes to spare. However, with a warm smile, Amor willingly gave the old lady a piece of their 3 fish. Alon and Ubing looked at her intently, almost asking,
Haan kayo agdanag? Haan nakpat mabasin unay?
Both the father and the son were enthralled by Amor's kindness. They know what she said was a lie. She hadn't eaten since the storm began, but they knew better than to oppose. The old woman thanked them with a grateful smile. She then murmured something barely audible to hear, but they heard her say,
Iyon to pagpapawian na ito eh.
Not long after the old lady left, an old man this time apparition on their doorstep. He was wearing a salakot, wet camisa de chino, and a crooked cane. He smiled sadly, making the cross feet in his eyes evident.
Mabalin lang, ikan na kumalimakan. Wakain akon, kanawan porot akon, linayos ti bagyudin akon kon, naawanan na, tulungan na kuman.
Nahalamon to ikan, bagim latan.
Saan tayo ang pabawi?
Now, they only have 1 fish left, but no one is hungry. no one is willing to eat the fish. Days passed and for some miracle, the water gave fortune to the family. Fish tripled in number and little by little, the family earned enough to climb their way to live in luxury. However, as they grew richer, they also grew greedy with all the money they had. They developed a rotten mentality wherein they were afraid of losing whatever they've gained because they know how it feels to have nothing. And going back is the last thing they want. As a result, they tend to look down on the less fortunate and deny them any help unless they give something in return. It's as if they were blinded by their own avarice. One night, a loud knock broke the long-held silence in the four corners of their house. As their servant opened the door, a skinny, wrinkled woman with sagging skin and upright posture appeared. The sudden blow of the wind swung the golden sarong dangling on her body. This old lady came with pleading eyes and soiled hands, asking for any food to eat. This time, the family denied her request, but the old lady was determined and desperate. She kept on knocking at their door, hoping that they would give her even just a piece of fish. After hours of pleading, she left with a grieving heart.
Aggabao yan, tunay-toy.
The couple was too cavalier to care. They thought that people like her are just opportunists and lazy individuals, relying on the rich kindness and swindling them of their fortune. Another night came, and this time it was raining heavily. The whole neighborhood was alarmed for an impending flood. But Amor and Aaron's household was securely confined in their own homes with plenty of food stored. An old man this time appeared on their doorstep. He was wearing a salakot, wet camisa de chino, and a crooked cane. He smiled sadly, making the crossed feet in his eyes evident. His hands holding the cane were tremendously shaking. He asked for a refuge from the storm and any food to eat. Just like the old woman, his pleadings were denied.
Binggan na. Dumteng to tibigat na mapagawan kayo.
As he said the last lines, a loud thunder struck the land and the old man suddenly disappeared. Morning came, not like the usual days. Fish was nowhere to be found. So was their son Ube. The people looked for fish to eat while Aaron and Amor searched for their son, but both seemed to vanish. It's a mystery that the people of their barangay started to think that the enigma behind the sudden loss of fish ties with Ubing's disappearance. At this time also, they noticed an unusual rock formation in the deep waters. The couple were tirelessly searching everywhere. They've utilized every resource they had. They've searched every corner of their place and asked every single person in their barangay, but no one can say where he is and where he went. No traces of him were found. It's like he just disappeared. Finally, the couple saw the rock formation in the middle of the deep water. They felt goosebumps creeping on their skin. They had a sudden urge to come and see the rock formation, but every villager won't lend them any balanga. They had enough of them patronizing themselves, thinking that they are high and mighty. Moments later, the old woman and old man whom they denied help a few days ago appeared. Despite what they did, the old man and the old woman didn't rejoice over the couple's misery.
Nulaing kumainpang kami. Mabalin nga naliklikan kumaday to'y ang kasama. Dumngig ka, mabalin nga daytoy ken makariribo ken saan ang nakapapati ang mangin. Ngem siya sika, ken sika siya. When, datak ket may saa tao, ngem agdumat ka pa na pinanta. Manipod pa idi, ulit-ulit laing araramidan tayo di nakakaskas ang panagkamali. Isuni bathala, iniyag na kanya tayo tayo tuyag ang daway ng masabalyan ng itigasan na. Lakit di, na imatangan amin ni bathala, amin nga aramid na. Sakbay pa yan nagbalintang ng tao, ang pagbabawyan ta at pagbanagan, isungat nulungan na ta. Namain ni, ang itiday-tuy nga kanito, mailinteg aming nabanag na nakilo. Hindi kami nagbalay.
At siya anak tayo, nalapsat na bato, militing na iba-ibay. Intayo ang Orion ay na doon.
The couple couldn't comprehend exactly what they heard from these two foreign people. All they know is that their son may not come back anymore, and it's exactly their fault. They started weeping, crying to their heart's content. They couldn't believe their greediness for wealth had caused them to lose the only treasure that really matters to them. Clouded with too much desperation to reach their son, the couple started swimming with streams of tears cascading from their eyes. Their emotions got the best of them, void of the thought that the water is too deep for anyone to swim. Before they realized it, and before they could even reach their son, both of them were already drowned. They were gasping, waving, and catching for air. No one was there to help, or perhaps no one was willing to help. The next day came, and no body was found. Their house was devoid of life. The people were in awe, seeing the two huge rocks formation emerging out of nowhere. The fish miraculously appeared once again like they never left. Legend says that the couple is still weeping. At night, the sound of the waters flowing would fill the silence, and they can hear the cries of the couple as they call their son's name. And that's how the story behind the magnificent rock formation of Claveria ends. Very tragic, don't you think? My grandfather used to tell me stories before I sleep, and every time it's a different story. The characters are different, the events are different, and the timeline is different. But I figured they have one similarity. A family had tragically met their demise all the time.
Yes, but I'm seriously curious. Why did you suddenly ask me to visit our hometown? And why are you telling me this now?
Because I'm afraid that maybe it's me and you, and history is repeating itself once again.